Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Codec's Copilot webinar on Discover how Copilot Chat will simplify tools for better productivity within the workplace. Jamie, do you want to just go to the next slide? My name is Jenny Mara, and I'm going to give you, I'm an Enterprise Account Manager in Codec, and I'm just going to give you a brief overview of Codec. So Codec are a 40-year-old business. We're a full-stack Microsoft partner, and we're based on Adelaide Road in Dublin. We have 300 plus employees, and we've many long-standing relationships with our customers. We are an Azure MSP expert, and we've 3 MVPs, Microsoft valued professionals in the business. Our revenues for 2024 were in excess of 50 million. Our Azure business has been growing at 58% year on year, and our D365 and Power Platform business is growing at a rate of 37%. We also have opened an office in London, and our revenues in London at the moment are growing at 32% year on year. We have other offices in Ireland or in the group, so we've got offices in Dublin, Belfast, London, Cologne, Warsaw, and in Malta. And Codec, what we focus on is we recommend the right technology. We focus on providing professional and managed services underpinned by Codec's cloud accelerators. I'm going to pass you over to Janvi now. Oh, sorry, there's one other slide for me actually. So just to give you an idea of our accreditations, so Codec have been awarded last year 2 Microsoft Partner of the Year awards. So we are Government Partner of the Year for Microsoft, and also Best Analytics and Data Partner of the Year. We also hold 7 specializations, and they're listed above. So obviously Copilot falls under modern work, which we also hold a badge for. So I'm going to pass you over to Janvi now, and she's going to deliver the webinar. Sorry, Janvi, you're just on mute there.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Jan, we got you now. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry. Gonna go back to the slides.
Sure.
And thank you, Jenny, and I'll welcome everyone again to our very first webinar on Copilot Chat. First of all, before we dive into what Copilot is and share a bit of more insights onto it, I will give a quick introduction to myself. I'm Janvi, and I have been working as a business analyst for over 6 years now. And for past 2.5 years, I have been working here in Codec as a senior business analyst. I hold a bachelor's degree in electronics engineering, and later I pursued master's degree in business analytics. This is where when I was pursuing my master's degree, this is where brought me a bit closer to getting businesses, introducing a technology to them, getting businesses a bit closer to technology. And working in Codec has been extremely upskilling. I have had an opportunity to deliver various types of IT projects across a wide range of industries, from retail and logistics to health and safety, even some regulatory bodies and transportation and stuff. So it has been very upskilling. I have learned a lot with some amazingly talented colleagues around. And what truly drives me is just connecting with people, even if through a simple chat, understanding and trying to make a bit of a difference. I'm the one who is always a bit curious and eager to learn more about it. So I hope you guys know me a bit more better now. And thank you for giving me a few minutes to introduce myself. And let's get started with today's session. I will quickly walk you through what we will be covering today. First, I'll provide an introduction to Copilot Chat, what it is, and some of its key benefits it can bring to our day-to-day work life and also our personal life. Next, I'll also demonstrate on how to navigate and utilize Copilot Chat's features so that you can start right away with confidence. And we'll also spend some time on understanding the best practices for crafting effective prompts, what kind of works well, what could be the common mistakes that we could avoid for the best results to get. And finally, we'll wrap up our session with a Q&A where I'll try to answer the questions and share some practical tips. So let's get started. So what is Copilot? When we hear Copilot, the first thing that kind of comes in our mind is aviation. Let's get a bit into aviation. Let's imagine that you are flying a plane. Now, would you want to do it by yourself? I would not. I would not dare to. And this is where a co-pilot comes in. The co-pilot would just sitting next to the main pilot, making sure that the main pilot is having everything what it needs help with, helping it to navigate, communicate, and just making sure that everything's safe and working fine. And now in AI, the idea is very similar. A co pilot would act like your digital partner, a tool that would be available with you to help you work a bit smarter, faster, and a bit efficiently. I hope that kind of summarizes a bit about what Copilot is. But then let's say that what Copilot Chat could do and what Copilot Chat is. Now, most of us are already familiar with the tools like ChatGPT. In our day-to-day lives, we have been using ChatGPT for a while now. I kind of ask smartest to like stupidest questions to ChatGPT. Now, Copilot operates the exact similar way. It can instantly answer your questions. It can summarize lengthy documents for you. It can draft emails and reports for you. It can suggest you some next steps, maybe also explain some complex topics in very simple language, or even if you want to have a very normal conversation. It could pretty much do everything that you would want a smart assistant to do. But then what kind of co-pilot makes a bit different to ChatGPT then? See, I think that a co-pilot takes a step a bit further. Not only Copilot Chat is completely free to use, but what makes it even more powerful is that your data and your chat history will stay safely within the Microsoft's environment, giving you all the benefits of AI without actually stepping out of that trusted environment. And we all have been using Microsoft's applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook. We have been using all these applications since our childhood. We trust Microsoft. And this is why I feel that it's very important for us to keep our conversations or keep our documentation into that entrusted and secured environment. I hope this kind of gives us a bit summary about what Copilot Chat is, how it's a bit different to other AI assistant tools, and we'll get started. We'll move on to how we could access Copilot Chat and just look into how the layout is and maybe try out a bit for features. Um, I am just going to move out of the presentation mode and get onto the Copilot Chat. So now you can easily access Copilot Chat just through an URL, which is microsoft365.com/chat, or you could easily be available through any of your search engines which you have been using. Now, when I open a Copilot, once I have accessed the Copilot using my email address, this is how it will kind of look. There is a new button here which could help you to create a completely new conversation. It could allow you to have a fresh conversations, and if you want to have it's a complete different topic you want to talk about, you can just click on it and a new chat thread would start up. Here you could see that there are prompt cards. These are really helpful if you are just not aware where to start from. If you are not sure about how you could interact with Copilot, you have a simple prompt cards which could help you, which would suggest you a different ways how you could interact with. At the bottom, we have a text box, and this is where we will be typing our prompts that could be either our questions or instructions, and whatever basic even a simple conversation, that text box could help us to just type into it. And then on the right side, we also have chat history, which kind of gives me a brief about topics that I have been searching into, so that if there is some topic I want to pick up randomly, I could just go and search for that and then continue the thread. As you could see that the 7 days previously, I have been searching to plan a holiday for two people in somewhere and so on. Um, so the layout of the Copilot, it's very clean, user friendly. I think it kind of more focuses as if you are just chatting to a normal person or using a WhatsApp or something. So very simple and clean. I feel that there isn't anything complicated. It's very intuitive, so you can just get started right away. Just to move on to the Copilot presentation, we'll just look into what we are going to do next. I messed up here. Should have just gone to the current slide. Sorry about that. Perfect. Okay. So before we move into the features, this is like a little preview of what's kind of coming up. We'll see the how Copilot kind of lets you upload the files and kind of summarizes or analyzes it a bit and suggest you maybe a bit of improvements through it. We'll also look into the image generation, how an AI generated image could like instantly you could use it in your maybe campaigns or your social media content or anything. We could also see that the Copilot has a language capability. It operates onto the multiple different languages, and it receives a clear and context-aware responses as well in that particular language. It also has an export capability. So whatever chat you are having, if there is any document created, you could export it in your suggested file. And at the same time, while we are looking onto all these features, we will also look how kind of it keeps everything secure. Just move on to back onto our demo side. And just to go on to the file upload, today what I am going to use is an employment bill just to showcase what kind of document it is. It's a 24-page document. It's a bit of an heavy text document. It has a link to more of a different documentations, and there's just a lot going on, and it will easily take me like good 2 to 3 hours to just read through this document and summarize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Copilot to just I'm going to upload this into Copilot and ask Copilot to summarize it for me, and we'll see how it kind of works. It's a very simple. What I'm going to do is add content. There is a cute little button here, and from here, I'm going to upload the employment bill. And I'm going to have a simple um, prompt here. Could you summarize this? Okay. And I'm going to now, as you could see, literally in 2, 3 seconds, it had uploaded the whole file of a PDF, and it has received my prompt as well. And at the same time, it is giving me a quick overview about what the PDF document is about. It's about an employment bill of 2025. What's the purpose of it? And it has given me a key provisions about it. In a high level, it kind of summarizes me what that document is about. Very simple and straightforward. Now, let's say in the same document, I want to say that, okay, could you provide key takeaways from this document? Have a look on how it kind of provides me key takeaways in the minimum text. So as you could see, it has given me a code provisions which are in 5 bullet points, which kind of summarizes in a very nice way that there is an employer response, there is what is an employee notification, what could be the workplace relations, and so on. And later, it kind of tells me about an international context and prerequisite. So it kind of gives me a nice key takeaways, which I could read further. And let's say now I just have a document and I am not sure where to start with. I don't know what kind of questions to ask. So what I could do is ask Copilot to suggest me questions. So I'm just going to have a very simple prompt here saying that what questions could I ask you to get better insights on this document? And I am just going to go through this. It kind of says great question, so it appreciates my not so good talent, and then it kind of gives me an understand. Gives me a topics which are like understanding the law's impact, legal and compliance insights, comparative and international context, and stuff. Now, in this, let's say from my perspective, as I'm a business analyst, all I care about is data and trends. So I can pick up these questions, ask back to Copilot, and it's going to dig exactly that information for me. So let's say, what are the current trends in the retirement age? This is the only thing that I kind of want to focus into rather than going in the document and digging it by myself. So I'm just going to ask Copilot to suggest me that and then use the same questions to ask to get more information out of it. So it's kind of nice and it's a bit easy. Now, this task for me to get this information out of that document would easily take me around 2 to 3 hours and probably more than that. But in few seconds with few good prompts, it was easily be able to provide me that information. Now, at the same time, over here, we also have an export capabilities. So if you could say it could also export it and you could also edit in pages. So if I think that, okay, I want to add something in it, if I want to remove it, I am easily able to do it. And I could also share as a component, and further, I could share this as a link as well. And as I have used a PDF file of an employment bill, which was available to public on to the government's website. But if you are using, you could be using some documents which are sensitive or which could have your company's data or even your personal data, which you want to keep in that secure environment. You do not want to use any other AI tools. So Copilot is really very good. It kind of keeps that data within that environment itself. As we are talking about that, I could also show you that there is an enterprise data protection. So if I just click on this, it kind of opens up a new tab which provides me and where my data is and how it is being used. And further, it kind of gives you a very clear GDPR rules and everything about it. That's something to look into and read about if you want to be more aware about how your data is being used or anything. So that kind of gives a little bit of a nice summary. And what I will do is we'll move on to our next feature, that is image generation. Now, I want to create like an promotional, like a promotional for an Instagram or something like an image where I could show like, a futuristic, like let's say a glass buildings with the people float in and everything, which could have like a futuristic, like a matrix kind of view. And it could be like a vibrant and a bit and then on that I could write that like some companion stuff saying that visualize your future and stuff. So I'm just going to write a prompt. Now your prompts, you could have a prompts very straightforward, or if you have more information to provide, it's always better too. So I am just going to write a simple prompt here saying that uh, create a with a futuristic cityscape at night with maybe like towering skyscrapers made of glass, something which kind of I was telling you guys, this is how I want it to look like. And there should be a bit of light and people walking around in illuminated sky bridges and stuff, and make it vibrant. Now, I have been very, very open about what I want this prompt to do. So it's very precisely written. And I'm also going to write saying that, can you also write visualize the future with Copilot and make it campaign. And I am just going to see how this kind of goes up. Now, for our demo purposes, it kind of takes 1 or 2 seconds to build the thing up. But what I am going to do is I have already created this for the demo purposes, and it kind of give me a nice image with a futuristic, and it kind of has a nice like a matrix in it. I would say even this would be working in a minute time. And at the same time, it kind of has a possibility that I could download it, I could share it further, or if I want to make a bit more change to it, I will be easily be able to do it. Let's see. Oh, this is actually so much better. I think my prompt was just too good. So this is like this is kind of what I wanted. I wanted it to be very vibrant, and it literally took it 2 seconds to create that. And this could be on my Instagram or my LinkedIn, where I could say, where I could promote Copilot or anything what you want to. So that's kind of nice features. Now, if you're comfortable to chat with Copilot in your preferred language, these all prompts, you can easily use your preferred language as well. And as we have also seen the documents which it creates, we can export it easily and at the same time keeping everything safe along in the Microsoft environment. Now we'll move on to our next part of our presentation. This time I'm going to do one. Okay, so prompts, do's and don'ts. So this is kind of, I believe that something that could make or break your experience with Copilot or any of the AI assistants. We want to make sure that the prompts which we are writing, the instructions, or it's specific, it's clear, it kind of provides a bit more context to it, and make sure that you use a simple and a direct language. Now, what I feel is writing a prompt is like ordering a coffee. Now, if I go in a cafe and if I just say that, okay, I want a coffee, they are going to give me an espresso, a latte, or anything. I would never know. But if I am being specific, if I say that, okay, I want a coffee, I want a medium latte with oat milk and a bit of a sugar in it. And so I'm exactly going to get what I'm asking for. So in the prompts, when you are writing a prompt, this is exactly how it is. Make sure that you are being clear and specific. You have an enough context to it. You are using a simple and a direct language, and ask a direct question. Make sure that you are breaking down the complex task into different types of questions or your instructions, and be specific of the format you want. If you want it to be a list, a bullet points, if you want it to be a summary or a table or anything. And there are some common mistakes that we could avoid while writing prompts. Oh, I would completely avoid vague request. If I just say help me, it's not going to know what I need help into. So I have to be a bit more specific that what I need help in. Don't overload with too much of information. Make sure that your information, what you are providing, is relevant to what the replies you want from Copilot. Do not use technical terms or don't use jargon unless it's necessary for you to do it. And absolutely do not assume that Copilot knows everything. It does not know everything. You will have to tell Copilot what you want, and you're going to get the reply in the way you write the prompts. Avoid combining too many asks in one prompt. And first of our the where we kind of uploaded the file, we kind of got summarized takeaways, and then further we asked question to Copilot. So we kind of got a lot of information in three kind of different prompts. So something to remember with is that you can do that. You do not have to get everything in one prompt. Spread it down in 3 to 4 different prompts, and then you can summarize all that information in one. And don't use confusing or negative language because it's not going to respond at all. It's an AI, it's not going to get upset if you use any negative language at all. And to move on, so there is something for you to remember when you are writing a prompt, that is a grow formula. Now it's very simple. G is for goal. This is where you want and Copilot to do for you. You want it to write a summary. That's your goal then. R is for role. Sometimes it's kind of helps, not every time, that Copilot to who or whom it's supposed to be. So let's say that I want a summary from a project manager's perspective. So I could write that, okay, I want to write a summary from a project manager's perspective. So project manager could be a role over here. Not necessarily you could use it every time. Some of the questions could be generic, so you could just skip that. And O is for output. So, what format do you want your response in? We might ask, give me the summary in 5 bullet points or give me in a table. So, that could be the way you want the output to look like. And finally, W is for wording. So, how do you want the tone or a language to sound of that particular summary? If you want it informal, let it know. If you want it to be poetic, it could do that as well. We'll quickly have a look on how good and bad prompts kind of make or change the way we interact with Copilot. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and we are going to take an example of starting a business. So, let's say I'm going to say that, how do I start a business? Now, in this kind of prompt, it's very generic. It doesn't give me any. I'm not telling much. I'm just saying that I want to start a business, and still I'm going to proceed. Now, it will give me information. It is going to work, but will it work for me? I don't know why. Okay, I'm just gonna start a new chat here because it's a different topic. How do I start a business? Okay. So my prompt was not really good. It was very generic. And based on my prompt, it has still given me information. It has still given me a guidelines, but it's very vague. It is not tailored for what I want. It doesn't tell me much. It just tells me that identify a business idea. I create a business plan. There's something these things which we kind of already know. So it's not customized for myself at all. But this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very specific on what I want. So I'm going to say, I am a 28-year-old graphic designer with 2000 euros saved. I also want to start a freelance, maybe freelance design business. So I'm telling it what niche I am looking into while working part time, because I'm also working as a graphic designer. This is just a scenario. And now I'm going to be specific about what kind of output I want. So what are the first 5 steps I should take? And I'm also going to ask on what tools should I use. So in this, I am being very, very specific. I'm telling about what I do. So it kind of knows how much money I have, what's my age. And I'm also saying that I want it to be in the 5 steps and also suggest me the tools. So now let's see that how a bit of a better concept, a bit of a better prompt could actually change the way the responses I get. Now, if you could see, On the first, where I just said, how do I start a business? It just told me identify your business, solve a problem, and this and that. Whereas where I gave a proper prompt, it gave me that define your niche and services. So it kind of told me what my goal should be, decide what you'll offer. So it's telling me about my logo designs, what I'm supposed to be doing, identify startup logo. So it's very tailored and customized for myself. It also tells me what tools I could use to get more information or to get succeeded onto this goal, which is really very nice. And it has built this into 5 steps, also making sure that how much of savings I have. So that's kind of nice. What I'm going to do is we're going to take one more example of this just to test the capabilities of Copilot. As we have seen that it had read through an employment bill, it did a bit of help in the business as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a very weird prompt saying that make a recipe for a curry. And now it's very generic. I don't tell, I'm not giving much information. Like I'm just saying that, and it just assumes that I want a chicken recipe. It doesn't tell me, like, there's a lot of information here. Now it is going to provide me how to make a chicken curry, but it is not tailored for me at all. So I am going to be again very specific, saying that write detailed recipe for vegetarian Thai curry. I'm gonna say also how many people I want it to be for 2 people. Um, and I also wanted to include prep time, cooking time, and also and step by step instructions. So this is what I kind of want Copilot to provide me with. And I'm just going to see. Okay, now it kind of makes sure that the ingredients which it has listed, it actually serves only for 2 people. It has given me a good information about the prep time, the cooking time, and the total time of it. This is kind of nice to look at, and just to make sure that, like, everything's nice. And also it tells me to make sure that there is a rice and noodles and everything. So it's nice. It helps me into what I want it to do. And then now we are going to go on to our final thoughts. We'll wrap up the things by having a few of the final thoughts just to summarize everything. Now, no doubt, Copilot is a powerful tool for communication and creativity and productivity. Now, whether you are drafting emails, brainstorming, or summarizing anything, or even doing a basic coding, having a digital assistant which is 24/7 available, kind of never gets tired, has an information across all different industries. It's really very great. Then we have that its effectiveness depends on how we use it. Thoughtful prompts, it's going to give us a better outcomes. That said, the output is only good as its input. If we ask vague or an unclear questions, we're gonna get vague or unclear answers. And learning how to prompt well is becoming a skill itself, I feel. Now, Copilot can assist but not replace human critical thinking, ethics, and empathy. Now, this is one of the most important final thoughts I would like to emphasize on. Now, as powerful as Copilot is, it's not a replacement for human judgment. It doesn't understand the context the way we do, it doesn't have those values. And that's why it's very important for us to use this as a supporting tool and not a decision maker. It shouldn't decide me what curry I'm supposed to eat. I am supposed to tell it to give me what information I need. And AI is evolving fast. Staying informed and adaptable is key. There's AI is every day, there is some different tools and some different features have been added. Things are changing rapidly in the world of AI. New capabilities are literally being released constantly. So it's kind of very important for us to stay curious and keep experimenting and adapting as the tools evolve, because maybe like what's kind of cutting edge today, it could be very basic tomorrow. Few decades ago we didn't have mobile phones, but now mobile phones have become a major part of our life. So eventually, hopefully, maybe AI would be helping us and assisting our task in a more better and productive way. So, what you could do today without jumping, you can jumpstart right away without leaving the browser you are in right now. Just go on to the Microsoft's Copilot, ask it very random. You could just ask for a book recommendations or maybe a series or maybe a gift suggestions and stuff. You can ask for a writer help in your writings, just something to get started with, or it will help you to navigate around and just make sure that like you are a bit familiar with the layout, its chat history and everything, as everything's fresh as just you went through it. um and thank you so much for that. Actually, this is it. And just to give a bit of information, we have a next webinar coming up. The today features what we went through as a file uploads and image generation and just an AI assistance as a tool to help you along with your work. The features what we went to are completely free to use, whereas there is a licensed version as well of Microsoft Copilot, which comes along within the applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook and Teams. Now, my very good, amazing colleague Lorraine is going to do a webinar on those applications and how Copilot works within those applications on 5th of June. So we'll be sending you a registration link. If you're interested, make sure that you join it. It would be worth your time. And yeah, I guess that's it. Is Jenny,
Yeah.
what do you think?
So yeah, so we have some questions, Giovanni. So
Okay.
I did answer one there now from Margaret, who was asking, can Copilot do PowerPoint presentations?
Yeah.
So Margaret, I've put a message in the chat window there for you. So for PowerPoint, you obviously need to buy the license. It doesn't come with this free version.
Yeah.
And I've put the details there for you to assist you. If you need a license, you can contact Codec and we can help you get the license, but that's the only way you can action PowerPoint within
Yeah.
this module.
Yeah. I also feel that like the Copilot licenses, it goes across multiple different applications. So at a minimal cost, it doesn't cost that much. So it's kind of worth looking into.
Yeah. And then, sorry, there's just some other ones there. Does Copilot learn from my documents or code?
No, it it Copilot kind of uses your context in real time, so it would not train or retain your personal or your organization data. Your input, whatever it is going to remain private. If
Okay,
that kind
great.
of answers.
Yep. And then, sorry, there's just one here from, sorry, I'm just going to scroll down here. Is Copilot secure to use for company data?
Now depends upon how and where it's being used. For sensitive and confidential information, if you're using of your company's data, it's important that you follow your company guidelines and make sure that your privacy policies, what it kind of allows. Some companies do use a licensed version of Copilot, which comes in with the security features itself. So that should be safe to use. But I would definitely recommend to check with your company's guidelines.
Okay, and there's just one here from Sylvia as well. Does Copilot work in tandem with document labeling? Presumably that you can't ask Copilot to summarize a Word document classified by you or your organization as restricted. So yeah.
No, go on, Jenny.
No, I was going to say, Sylvia, so in answer to your question, you can only summarize documents that you actually have access to. And you are, if it is a classified document, you can actually query it because you have access to it. But if you don't, if it's restricted and you don't have access to it, well, then you won't be able to ask it questions.
Yep. Perfect.
Um,
Is there any
and
other questions?
there's just one other one here now from Sarah. There have been issues with ChatGPT citing fabricated case law and statistics. How do you ensure the information Copilot is giving you is accurate and correct?
No, so this is the thing. I don't think that Copilot is accurate. It's very clear that it's not accurate. It's very confident, I would say, but not always right. It generates responses based on the patterns which it gets from its training data. Now, the training data could also be non verified facts. So, make sure that whatever information you are receiving back from Copilot, especially if you're dealing with any legal or any sensitive content, make sure that you read through it and and then you use it in a positive way, and rather than just like just going through it asking Copilot. And this is where it kind of comes in, that Copilot, make sure that you're using it as an assistance, and that Copilot shouldn't be a decision maker. It should always be you. It should always end up with you, if that kind of summarizes. But no, it's not accurate. It's not always correct. It's very confident though.
Okay, and then somebody asked the question, Giovanni, is that can I make my resume on Copilot?
Yes, absolutely. Copilot can absolutely help you in creating your resumes. It can help you with drafting it, and further, it can also give you a suggestions based on a job application, what you're applying for, on what you could do, maybe certifications that could help you to get that particular job as well.
Okay, great. And then one final question is, well, there's actually two questions in this. A few questions to ask. What are the permissions we should get from Kodak to use? Is someone will watch daily how the employees are using Copilot in Kodak? And how Copilot is better than ChatGPT?
I think the Kodak part, I'll leave it to you, Jenny.
Well, the Kodak part is that, unless we don't have permissions to look at your Copilot, because that'll be something that you'll manage internally unless you've given us a managed service contract. And in terms of would someone in Kodak be watching how employees are using their Kodak on a daily basis? The answer is no. But it is a feature that the admin, your Office 365 admin, can use internally in your business to check to see. Obviously, it depends on the license that you have. This is all about Copilot Chat, but the administrator in your organization can see who is using their license and who is not using their license. So it'll see what Copilots you might use and what Copilots are not being used. And if you've been given a Copilot license and not using it, that's one of the reasons why businesses will remove it again, is because you haven't been using the Copilot agents. So.
Yeah. And there was, I think, a mention about how it is different from ChatGPT. Now, again, we went through that in the presentation. I think ChatGPT is now it works in a similar way. The model's a bit similar to ChatGPT, but the Copilot, it's into a trusted environment, and we want to make sure that the information, it is being private. Now, Copilot makes us Microsoft and its privacy and security are very open about it. They have on their websites, they tell you everything information about how the data is being used and how they train their Copilot. So this is where I feel that there is a bit of transparency when it comes to Microsoft's products. And also ChatGPT won't come ChatGPT doesn't have an ability to integrate within your applications like your Excel, Word, Outlook, and Teams. Now, if you're using Copilot in Excel, it has an ability that in a huge data set, it could create a pivot table for you. It could summarize a formula for you and stuff. Now, ChatGPT would not be able to do that unless you provide that particular Excel file to ChatGPT. And in that way, you are actually moving your company's data out of your environment.
Okay. And then just one last question here from Laura, Giovanni. Thanks for a great presentation. Could you let me know where is the language capability in Copilot?
Language capability, you do not, there isn't anything to turn on and off. You can just literally go in and if you just type into your particular language, it will be able to respond into that language particular. So
Okay.
we should.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to close the webinar there. Giovanni, do you want to just go to the next slide in terms of,
Yes.
guys, if you wouldn't mind taking a moment and give us some feedback on our webinar today, and then we can ensure that, you know, we take your feedback on board for the next webinar. And thank you for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
We'll just keep this slide for a minute, as we have 1 minute, so that people can use their mobile phones to scan. And your feedback is really very critical. Help us if you have more suggestions into webinars. Put a suggestion as well, and make sure that you join our next webinar as well with Lauren on 5th June. We'll just leave it, and it's 4:40, 10:45. Is that okay, Jenny? Shall I?
Yeah, that's fine, Giovanni.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.